Welcome back to Arkansas Bigfoot, everybody. Glad you came along with us today. We've been out here on the southeast corner of the woods where our boundary line ends and snooping around looking for any new trackways or footprints or any kind of structures, and we're seeing little indications all over the place. A little drier back here right now, but thought it would be a good chance to walk around and look and see. There's something that's kind of been popping out on the videos the last several times that I've been back here with the camera, and not quite sure how to explain it, or maybe some of you have had experience with it or know a little bit more about it, but I don't know the right word to call it except for a shimmering figure. And it seems like it'll pick up a lot easier on the days where it's overcast out here. You can see more prevalent the shape or outline of a person, a creature, a figure moving around. It's translucent, almost like looking into the backside of a DVD or CD disc. It's just
mirrorish.
You'll see the outline and some prism and things like that. We've talked about the cloaking and the interdimensional abilities of Sasquatch, and in some ways it might be attributed to that, but these things that we're seeing on
they don't seem as big.
No, they're human size or smaller.
Thus far, they haven't been aggressive with us. Here's a good foot right here. That's the problem with this dry pine straw. They're really good at leaving an impression, but not a castable print, which can be aggravating, but
so that's another mystery to add to the list of weird things that we pick up on out here. So maybe if you guys have had any kind of experience or come across anything talking about stuff like that, enlighten us. We'd be glad to hear it. I'm not sure what to call it other than it's just a shimmering figure. It's not all the time, and usually when it's overcast on the videos you can see it happen a lot more frequently. Which you would think would be the opposite, that if it was something shiny you'd see it in the sunlight, but it seems like it's just backward of that.
X's and Y's.
Had one person ask how Sasquatch could move through a woods that was this dense of a tangle of vines and saplings and stuff like this, and it's pretty easy. You just put your hands out in front of you and push out like a swimmer goes through water. It's not any big effort. You can tell the paths that they use a lot more frequently because they are wide open and stuff is knocked down. And
I thought I caught a light grunt from back this direction, so we'll keep our eye out. Sometimes Junior will just go, I call it a hey.
Just make a little low, quick grunt. But it is pretty woolly back here.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to walk off this direction.
That guy's had a rough life. Every branch. Where's the rest of the tree? Where's the X? Maybe with one of the branches. I don't know, maybe if they get bugs when they rot, then
Yeah, sit there and pick it apart, pulling bugs and grubs and things like that out.
Nothing goes to waste, that's for sure.
I think one of the other things that seems to be a prevalent topic of conversation is when people say that they'll have Sasquatch activity and then later on have what they think is a Dogman activity. The Sasquatch will disappear. I couldn't see that would run a Sasquatch off if they were in their preferred territory. I
can ask.
Hard to imagine that pretty much anything would be a threat to run them off. Well, that's weird, that piece of quartz laying alone out here.
Yeah. The only one. Want me to ask?
I don't know, you got your radio turned on, maybe you can ask Anku about it, see what he has to say.
Okay. So we're asking about how Dogman...
I'm asking what his opinion of Dogman is, if it's something that is a threat to them, or if it's something that is, you know, in association with them by choice, or...
I got no threat, but it has to do with portals. Just a minute. It's something to do with the portal energy of a place. If there's a means of he said you would call it negative, we would just acknowledge that it exists. But if it's not able to be contained, like it has to do with like I see them pushing back energy on some portals as though they can protect certain spaces from lower vibrational beings. But not all portals can be contained. He said it gets a little thick, but essentially that's what it amounts to. And if the feeling I'm getting is if those negatives outweigh a space that's conducive to them, then they will sometimes remove themselves. Often they will make a great attempt to push back that energy and try to contain it.
So it's just an opportunistic thing. Whenever the portals are open, whatever is close to it or senses it can kind of walk in and out and do its thing until somebody does a smackdown on it.
He uses the word gateway, ley lines. They're less. What I see is that Dogman has to follow certain energy patterns, whereas Sasquatch does not. They have more of an ability to be mobile. So if they can't contain that energy, it's like I see them just making a choice to move from it rather than fight it. They're actually very peaceful by nature.
So what's his take
They
on...
will fight if they have to.
So what's his take on this whole shimmer figure thing that I'm talking about?
First thing that came to my mind is other dimensions. These are beings that have learned to travel into our 3D world from... He uses the word realm as if it's a world. And there's a big difference, he said, between a dimension and a realm. These people exist in dimensions. Those people, those beings, exist in, it's almost like a universe of its own, a realm of its own, a world of its own. What the heck? That's cool. Have we seen this before? I don't remember this.
Well, we've definitely
yes.
seen this before,
I do
and that
remember
structure
that.
wasn't like that around it before.
I love this tree. But this tree is actually very powerful. Talk about gateways. That's awesome. Junior's big enough to do that now. I wonder if I can pick up on which one. I say Junior, there's his two. Oh, he's moving on up. It's very cool.
So he's graduated past the little Lincoln logs and moving up to full-grown trees, huh?
Yeah. He really is amazing. We're grateful for Anku, Big Daddy, Junior's daddy, the way it's been given to me. But Junior, we could probably not have done this project without his help. And for a big fella, he's very peaceful, actually. He likes to romp and play, or did a lot when he was smaller. But I think some of that was testing our water to see if we would take it as playful or if we would become afraid. It felt kind of like a testing ground. I did jump out of my skin a couple of times, but I don't know that true fear ever took over.
Sometimes they're just toying with us to see what our reaction would be. Their weirdo sense of humor that they have.
These people are extremely humorous.
Well, I'm going to make mention of this again because inevitably, just about every video that we post, somebody will pop up on the comments saying, I heard a car in the background, I hear road noise in the background.
Unfortunate.
Well, you can see through the trees where that opens up, and there's a large grass field and a tree line way beyond that, and a blacktop beyond that.
Yeah.
We're in Arkansas. There's roads everywhere. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, you're going to hear it.
I think where most of the challenge comes in for folks is they don't understand that these people are so not afraid of people or cars, or if they don't like something, they just simply go from it. They're not threatened by anything, at least these people.
Well, you know where over 80% of the sighting reports come from? People traveling down the road. Well, if Bigfoot or SASQUATCH had aversions to being anywhere near a road, they sure wouldn't have roadside sightings, would they?
Good point. When they move, they're also, I'm kind of getting that they, let me get through here. They're very focused. They don't, a lot of times that's why they're caught by surprise, is that they get so focused on their intention, their movement. Everything has the sense of intention about it, though. So once in a while they will be surprised by a vehicle.
Kind of odd up in there.
Yeah.
And this is Memorial Day weekend, and everyone's trying to break loose of their quarantine confinement and do their I'm free, let's get out.
And we don't blame them. The problem, as we've noticed, is that most places are still not open, so they're struggling to find things to do. And for a lot of the younger people especially,
They just run the roads.
they run the roads. And some of them are really proud of those loud motorcycles and cars and trucks. Ooh, spiders. Blech.
There, I think we can get through that little path there.
Busybodies.
So you were talking earlier about the shimmer figures and him saying that it was like another realm, or I'm going
Yeah.
to where it sounds to me like a mirror type earth
It's
or
almost
reality.
more like a plane of a realm. Dimensions and planes, he says, are not the same.
It's like a mirror image inside a mirror image inside of a mirror
It
image.
is very fun house that way. He's showing me what we know to be a fun house. You know, where you see all those. And it gives the deception of depth. But there's no depth.
The deception of depth, so it's literally right on top of us.
Exactly. It's literally like, show me a picture, Anku. He's showing me sunlight on the water. How it creates a reflection. It really has no bearing. No depth. It doesn't mean that all of them would be considered positive, but most of them, at least for us, he calls it no issue. Just be aware is his best advice against it. Makes it kind of tricky because, you know, when you get into an environment like this, or maybe a greater forestry, you might have a sudden dreadful feeling, and a lot of people attribute that to Sasquatch, and sometimes it is, but really it takes a certain amount of discernment to know where it is coming from.
So that's a fact. Not every boogeyman in the woods can be attributed to Sasquatch. So we've got shimmer figures, we've got dogmen, we've got lesser imps and demons running around.
He mentioned some of them in swampier areas can be much more aggressive. But he's also telling me that, here we go again. Do you want me to do this?
You got him tuned into the channel. Let's do it.
I don't know if he's ever not tuned in when we come out here. He's explaining that he says many have questions, so many questions about if all of them are the same. He said no. He said, much like you operate in a fourth, he showed me the fourth dimension, which includes time. There are many that operate in the same dimension. He says I'm seeing like 6, 7, 8, 9. So depending on where they're at in their maturity, and it's almost like the sense of what they've earned, it would determine which dimension they spend the most time in. He said for him it's 8. Not very long ago they had one transition, and part of that transition was he had reached the 10th. Oh wow, okay. So apparently there is growth and development and things we don't always understand.
So the 10th would be like
He said you would call it completion.
A total conscious state of that's where they exist.
So
That
him leaving
kind of explains that mournful feeling we felt a while back out here.
Right, they know he's still there. It's just that he isn't able to partake in physical activity with them. He is in his highest form, he says. He said once, oh Lord, once people understand life, understand no threat, understand the oneness of life, they too will rapidly ascend through these dimensions and planes. And that's what he's here for. He said is to assist those that would accept. But it's not, he's not trying to force anything.
Alright, so hold that thought for just a minute, because the last time we were back here, I brought that other little orgon block, that new one that I made, and we went across the creek to check all this out. So I want to go see if it's over here. You can hang out here for a minute. I just want to walk across real quick. See, came across here and up the hill, and I put it at that little oak. Well, it was right there wedged in that little fork of that tree. I don't see it. Well, it's not over there. Well, when we left the other ones, that's when they made that wheel up here, so.
Walk around that way and then check over here.
Well, there it is. And that looks like it's been opened up down at the bottom and opened up a little, a little bit at the top.
Very cool.
So they have no problem finding them, so.
Not much point in hiding them.
Well, let's get that tree loaded up and on up to the next one. It's a little warm out here this afternoon.
It is. Sounds
Ready
good.
to go find someplace cool. I haven't seen it for a week now. I don't know where it got carried off to. I put something a little different for a treat down in there today.
Everybody gets the same. Popcorn, quail eggs, peanuts, apple, peanut butter.
Thought they might enjoy those little quail eggs.
We brought those hard-boiled eggs out before and they just flat out disappeared, not a shell, nothing. So I don't know if they eat them whole.
I really need some new glasses. I can't see anything unless I'm real close up on it when I have the glasses on, and I can't see anything more than arm's distance out when I don't have them on, so.
Keep an eye out for the boy. The little man. for the road.
Alright guys, I'm going to do a 360 on this real quick for you, and then we're going to hit the tree and get on out of here and find something cool to drink. So we have shimmer beans to talk about, dogmen and other things similar to that, odd and end little elementals, and I'm sure somewhere, someplace there's a chupacabra thrown in for good measure. Alright, you got that all done. Apparently she didn't understand me. Alright guys, we're going to wrap it up for the day and go find some lemonade or something like that. We will catch you next time. Thanks.